Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into Mobile Suit Gundam's Universal Century, specifically the Flota Cima.
Ah, yes, the so-called Pariahs of Zeon.
Yeah.
A really tragic story.
Exactly. We've got some great sources here, and our mission is to kind of piece together their journey, origins, what drove them.
And their pretty rough fate, caught between the One-Year War and the Grips conflict.
Yeah.
Cima Garahau's unit.
Right, and what makes them unique is this rejection, isn't it, by both the Federation and the main Zeon Remnants heading to Axis.
Totally stranded. It forced them into this, well, desperate corner.
So let's start at the beginning. UC-0078, the Marine Amphibious Unit Cima, is formed.
Yeah, and the thing is, most of them weren't volunteers. They were forcibly recruited.
From where?
Side 3, the colony Mahal. The sources suggest Mahal might have been like a lower status colony.
Which would make its people easier to just scoop up for dangerous duty.
Pretty much. Their job was specialized ops in colonies. Inherently risky stuff.
Okay, so not a great start. And then it gets worse, right? The GG gas incident.
Oh, definitely worse. They were assigned some real dirty work, including using this nerve gas, GG, or sometimes G3, on civilians.
But there's that crucial detail about deception, isn't there?
Yes, allegedly. The story goes that Colonel Asakura told Cima and her unit it was just a non-lethal anesthetic, for evacuation.
Just knock them out, move them out. But that wasn't the reality.
Not at all. It was horrific nerve gas. The sources mentioned the crew, especially Cima, having nightmares, lasting trauma.
And they weren't even sure which colony it was, seems like. Some confusion in the sources.
Yeah, maybe Island Diffish, maybe another one, but the psychological scarring was definitely real.
And then adding insult to, well, profound injury, their home colony, Mahal.
Right, at the end of the One-Year War, UC-0079, Giran Zabi decides he needs it.
Needs it for what?
Turns it into the solar ray, the giant colony laser superweapon.
Oh, wow. So what happened to the people? 1.5 million people lived there.
Forcibly displaced. Just kicked out. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Shows how little Zeon leadership, or Giran anyway, cared about their own people if they were inconvenient.
Especially these people who were already treated as expendable. Unbelievable betrayal.
So the war ends. Zeon loses. What happens to Zima's unit? They try to join the retreat.
They did. They tried to link up with the main Zeon forces heading out to Axis, with Haman Karn.
Makes sense. Safety in numbers.
But they got rejected. Turned away.
Rejected. Why?
Guess who orchestrated it? Colonel Asakura again.
No way. The guy from the gas incident. The very same. He apparently pinned the blame for the GG gas entirely on Cima's unit. Falsely.
Why would he do that?
To save his own skin, it seems. Make himself look better, more acceptable to Haman and the Axis leadership.
So Cima and her crew are just left behind, utterly abandoned.
Yep. Pariahs. Can't go to the Federation, obviously. Can't go with Zeon.
Yeah.
They're stuck in the Earth's sphere.
And that forces them into, what, survival mode?
Exactly. Piracy, mercenary work, whatever they could do to keep going between, like, UC-0000-0083.
A really desperate existence. Which leads us to UC-0083 and Operation Stardust.
Right. Agel Delaz reaches out to them.
Yeah.
He needs experienced space forces.
But Cima wasn't exactly jumping back into the Zeon cause, was she?
No, not at all. For her, this wasn't about Zeon loyalty. It was an opportunity.
For revenge.
Seems like it. Revenge against the Zabi loyalists, the system that used and discarded her and her people. Delaz represented that old guard, in a way.
So she plays along, for now. Tactical support for Stardust?
Yeah, they helped with hijacking the Blade Command ship, the Islandese colony drop preparation. They even clashed with the Federation's Albion.
And wasn't there something with Anaheim Electronics near Von Braun?
Ah, yeah. Cima tried to basically extort Anaheim's O'Sullivan for support. That's apparently when it became clear Earth itself was the real target of Stardust, not just military goals.
But while she's working with Delaz, she's also working against him, secretly.
Making contacts with hardliners in the Federation, people like Bascom.
And this leads to her getting a very special mobile suit.
The AGX-04 Gerbera Tetra. Which is, well, fascinating. Because it wasn't really a Zeon suit. It was secretly the Federation's own prototype, the RX-78 GP-04G Gundam Gerbera.
Wait, a Gundam? How does she get that?
Anaheim Electronics built it. Then the project got canceled. They seem to have cosmetically altered it to look Zeon-like.
And gave it to Cina. Why?
Likely a political favor. A bribe, maybe. Facilitated by O'Sullivan at Anaheim as part of Cima's secret deal with Bascom and the feds.
The irony. A Zeon pariah, rejected by everyone, ends up piloting a disguised Federation Gundam.
It really sums up the messy, cynical politics of the era, doesn't it? All these backroom deals.
But these deals always fall apart, especially in Gundam. Cima eventually makes her move against Delaz.
She does. Boards his flagship, the Guadin, and assassinates him. Fulfills her end of the bargain with Baska.
And then just chaos.
Complete chaos. Her Flota Cima is now fighting the leftover Delaz forces who are furious.
And the Federation fleet is moving in too, including the Albion and the Solar System II weapon.
Right. It's a massive, confusing battle. And Cima is right in the thick of it in her Gerbera Tetra.
Leading to that final showdown.
Cima versus Kuyuraki in the GP-03 Dendrobium. That massive, incredibly powerful machine.
And Cima doesn't make it in the main OVA continuity anyway.
She gets impaled by the GP-03's mega beam cannon. A pretty brutal end.
Some other sources, like manga, might offer different takes, but that's the most known outcome.
Yeah. And with her gone, the Flota Cima just disintegrates, destroyed or scattered in the final battle.
Probably seen as totally expendable by Bast Ohm and her supposed Federation allies once she'd served her purpose.
Absolutely. Their story is just layers of tragedy. Forced service, manipulation, betrayal, isolation.
A desperate grab for revenge and power that just leads to total annihilation.
But their actions, born from that desperation, had huge consequences.
Definitely. Operation Stardust, which they were part of, even in Betrayal, the chaos it caused directly led to the Federation forming the Titans.
Which became this hugely oppressive force. So indirectly, their tragedy helped birth another one.
They really stand as the symbol, don't they? Victims of the war machine, chewed up by politics way bigger than them.
But also perpetrators, you know. They did commit atrocities, even if under duress or deception. It's morally very gray.
It really makes you think, were they villains?
Yeah.
Victims? Both.
And maybe that's the final thought for our listeners. Consider the Flota Cima. How does their story show the sheer human costs of these endless wars in the universal century?
Right. This constant cycle of betrayal, exploitation, violence. Who actually wins in the end? Something to mull over.